Thank you for attending my PowerPoint about how Arsenal win the Premier League. Without further ado, let's begin. Arsenal win the Premier League. First of all, check your calendars, look outside and double-check your eyes, because yes, this is real life and not a video game simulation. Arsenal have actually, officially, mathematically won the 2026 Premier League title. I know, some of you probably thought we'd see flying cars or human colonies on Mars before the Gunners lifted this trophy again. It took a cool 22 years of waiting since the 2004 Invincibles' endless heartbreak and surviving City's relentless robot army, but the 22-year curse is finally dead and buried. And let's be honest, how did Arsenal officially clinch it? In the most dramatically stressful way possible, obviously. Arsenal didn't even have to kick a ball on the final night. Arsenal just had to collectively manifest a tactical masterclass from Bournemouth. When the full-time whistle blew and City dropped points at the Vitality Stadium, North London absolutely erupted. Somewhere, Arsene Wenger is smiling, Declan Rice is jumping on a table chanting "champions," and the rest of us are wondering if we're going to wake up from a dream. But look, this didn't happen by magic, and it certainly wasn't just down to luck. Over the next few slides, we are going to break down exactly how Mikel Arteta cooked up this absolute masterpiece of a season. We'll look at the tactical masterclasses, the moments of pure panic, and how the squad converted years of trusting the process into absolute control of English football. Strap in, because we're about to see exactly how the Gunners conquered the league. Early advantage. Alright, so let's talk about August and September, or as I like to call it, the Great Premier League experiment phase. The start of the season is always total anarchy. Half the managers in the league are treating competitive matches like a Sunday league kick-around, testing out bizarre new formations, trying to fit overpriced summer signings into the squad and dropping points left, right, and center. It's the time of year when even the biggest teams look like they've never played football together before, giving everyone a clean slate. And then of course you have Manchester City. We all know the script by now. Manchester City literally spends the first 2 months of every season in a deep, peaceful slumber. While Pep Guardiola is busy overthinking his life choices or letting his squad casually cruise in third gear, they always drop a few baffling points early on. It's like they forget the league actually starts in August and just assume the season begins in January. Usually teams fail to punish them for this, but not us. Not this time. While City was hitting the snooze button, and everyone else was treating the league like a preseason tour, Mikel Arteta had the Gunners locked in from day one. Arsenal didn't do experimenting, Arsenal did destroying. Arsenal took absolute ruthless advantage of that early season chaos, hoarding 3 points every single weekend while the rivals were still trying to figure out who was playing where. This wasn't just a good start, it was a tactical heist that set the entire foundation for the title. Defensive fortress. They say defense wins championships, and boy, did Arsenal take that literally this season. Trying to score a goal against Arsenal in 2026 was honestly harder than finding parking at the Emirates on a match day. Arsenal didn't just have a good defense, Arsenal built an absolute titanium fortress. While other top teams were leaking goals like a rusty bucket, Arsenal were out here casually pocketing the best strikers in the world and making them question their career choices. Let's talk about the absolute bouncers at the door, William Saliba and Gabriel. These two have a partnership so tight they probably share a telepathic link. They shut down attacks like strict parents at a high school party, and even on the rare occasion an attacker managed to sneak past them, they had to face David Raya. The man secured his third straight Golden Glove award this season with an insane 19 clean sheets. At this point, I'm pretty sure Raya could catch a fly with chopsticks while blindfolded. When you look at the final numbers, Arsenal only conceded a ridiculous 26 goals the entire season. That is comfortably the best defensive record in the division. Opponents would come to Arsenal Stadium full of hope, only to spend 90 minutes suffocating under pressure, getting completely bullied off the ball, and leaving with 0 points and 0 goals. This defensive lockdown didn't just give us stability, it completely broke Arsenal rivals' spirits before the match even started. Tactical masterclass. Now let's talk about the man behind the curtain, Mikel Arteta. For years, people told everyone to trust the process, but in 2026 the process officially turned into a tactical cheat code. Arteta wasn't just managing football matches this season, he was playing 4D chess while the rest of the Premier League managers were still trying to figure out checkers. He turned Arsenal into a perfectly oiled machine that could completely adapt to whatever junk layout the opposition threw at them. The real comedy of Arteta's genius this season was how he absolutely humiliated opponents with his mid-game tweaks. Just when a rival manager thought they had finally figured out a way to stop Arsenal, Arteta would pull off a tactical substitution that completely broke the game. He had midfielders playing as inverted fullbacks, wingers popping up in the box from nowhere, and a bench so deep and dangerous it should probably be illegal. Opposing managers would sit in the dugout scratching their heads, looking like they just failed a high school math exam. But the ultimate masterclass was how Arteta finally outbrained his old mentor, Pep Guardiola. Arsenal didn't just win games by out-talented people, they won because they were tactically flawless. They knew exactly when to press high and suffocate teams, and exactly when to sit back and sit on a 1-0 lead just to frustrate everyone. It was a season of pure coaching supremacy, proving that while everyone else was trying to play football, Arteta was out here inventing new ways to win the league. Corner supremacy. If you want to know what truly struck terror into the hearts of Premier League defenders this season, it wasn't some flashy open-play tiki-taka. It was a simple corner kick. Under the mad genius guidance of set-piece coach Nicolas Jover, Arsenal turned corner kicks into the footballing equivalent of a cheat code. While most teams view a corner as a casual cross-and-hope scenario, this team treated every single corner like a highly coordinated, military-grade assault on the opposition box. The actual strategy was pure comedy to watch from the outside. They would send an army of giants into the 6-yard box, completely surround the opposing goalkeeper and block him so he couldn't even move his arms. It looked less like football and more like a crowded mosh pit at a rock concert. By the time the ball whipped in a lethal, dipping cross, the poor keeper was usually buried under a mountain of players, leaving a defender to helplessly watch the ball get thumped into the back of the net. They didn't just score a couple of lucky goals this way, they practically built their title charge on it, breaking records for the most set-piece goals in a season. It got to the point where opponents would actively panic and kick the ball out for a throw-in rather than concede a corner. Everyone knew exactly what Arsenal was going to do, but because the delivery and blocking were so flawlessly synchronized, absolutely nobody could stop it. It was brutal, it was hilarious, and it was pure corner supremacy. The depth. Playing elite European football in 2026 is less of a sports schedule and more of a logistical nightmare. Between the Premier League, the expanded Champions League format, the FA Cup, and the EFL Cup, top teams are essentially expected to play every 3 business days without their legs falling off. Historically, this is the exact part of the season where Arsenal's title charge would completely collapse due to exhaustion. But this year, Mikel Arteta looked at that relentless fixture list and simply decided to flex the deepest squad in England. The sheer absurdity of Arsenal's squad depth this season was almost unfair to the rest of the league. On a random Tuesday night in Europe, Arteta could completely rest his star players and casually roll out a B team loaded with international superstars. When a club can rotate through options like Victor Gyökeres banging in goals, Martin Zubimendi pulling strings in midfield, and guys like Eberechi Eze or Ricardo Calafiori coming off the bench, it's not even a backup squad anymore. It's just a second group of Avengers waiting to ruin someone's weekend. Because they could swap out half the starting lineup without a single drop in quality, Arsenal completely bypassed the usual spring fatigue that destroys everyone else. While Manchester City and Real Madrid players were running on pure fumes and player by April, Arsenal's squad looked like they had just come back from a relaxing spa weekend. They juggled every single competition with total composure, navigated the heavy winter traffic completely unbothered, and ultimately proved that having 2 elite players for every single position is the ultimate cheat code for winning a modern Premier League title. Conclusion. So when you look back at how the 2026 Premier League title ended up in North London, it wasn't down to a single stroke of luck or a fluke referee decision. It was the ultimate footballing cocktail. Arsenal combined a ruthless early season heist while Manchester City was still asleep, a defensive wall so utterly terrifying it gave strikers nightmares, a set of set-piece tactics that belonged in a rugby match, and a squad so deep that the bench alone could probably finish in the top 4. Put it all together, and the rest of the league never stood a chance. For years, rival fans clowned the phrase "trust the process" and made endless memes about Mikel Arteta's blueprints. Well, the joke is officially over. This season proved that the mad scientist actually knew what he was doing all along. They didn't just stumble across the finish line, they marched over it, outbrained the legendary Pep Guardiola, and silenced 22 long years of heartbreak and bottling jokes in the most convincing way possible. Love them or hate them, you have to admit they earned every single piece of silverware. In conclusion, the 2026 season will go down in history as the year the Premier League balance of power officially shifted. Arsenal proved that if a club can pair flawless tactical discipline with absolute squad depth, they can conquer the most grueling schedule in football. The 22-year curse is broken, the trophy has a new home, and the entire league has officially been put on notice. Thank you for listening, and please, keep any crying Tottenham or Manchester City fans in your thoughts today.